What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the new timeline. So it's no longer Road to Ironman or Ironman vlog because I had to drop out, obviously because of the concussion I sustained 7 weeks ago. As you can see, this is the first video without sunglasses. All right. So sunglasses are no longer needed unless I'm around like LED lighting, really bright lights, like try to keep the lights low in the house and just go all natural lighting. So yeah, that is good. So what I'm gonna do now, since I chose to drop out of the Ironman and a few other triathlons and races that I had this month, what I'm gonna kind of shift the focus to is now Road to Recovery from Concussion vlog. This is my 7th week. Obviously 7 weeks ago I was in a cycling accident and I was thrown from my bike and smacked my head on the concrete. If you haven't watched the videos prior to this, go check it out. I'm not gonna say it again. Not gonna explain it all over again. Take your lazy ass down there and watch the older vlogs and catch yourself up on this shit. All right. So anyway, what I'm gonna do now is kind of give a timeline. So I've got 7 weeks of information in this bad boy, this little Harriet the Spy notebook. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is break this video up so it's not one long video. I'm gonna try to keep the videos under 15 minutes a piece. So I'm gonna explain the first 3 weeks of symptoms in one video and then do maybe the other 4 in another video, and then we'll go on from there. But anyway, I'll give you guys also some feedback on kind of what I'm doing to help my recovery. I'm gonna make another video with like what I've been using, also some lifestyle changes that I made, food, all that shit. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe down below to make sure you get the notification when I make a new video. All right, don't fuck around, go do it now. Otherwise, turn this shit off, get out of my face. So anyway, all right, so timeline. May 18th, 2019, I was riding my bike, doing a routine training course that I was doing on my bike. I was going for 25 plus miles on my bike. I was about mile 12 and a half, where I was cut off by a truck, thrown off my bike, hit my head. Initially, I didn't feel anything because of adrenaline, so didn't feel anything. Just like, you know, a little headache, whatever. Not a little headache, but like a little. Just feel like I hit my head. Like I said, watch the videos before, and you'll be caught up. But anyway, so what I have the day of the concussion. After I finished my training and took a shower and settled down, right off the bat, I started feeling kind of brain fog. Not right off the bat, but it was maybe like 5 to 6 hours later. Started experiencing like brain fog, sore neck from whiplash, from my head jerking to the side. Shut this damn watch up. Brain fog, a little bit of vision issues, like not much, not to where you can really tell. Like I said, it just felt like I got, you know, it just felt like I got done playing a football game or like sparring in like kickboxing or boxing or something. It just felt like I was, you know, in a physical battle. So the accident happened around 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 or 11 in the morning, like 10, something like that. I felt okay. Around 4 p.m. Is when the symptoms of the concussion kind of started kicking in. Like I said, I've never had a concussion before. I've played football since I was 8 years old. I did a little bit of boxing and kickboxing, and like I said, I've been in a lot of I've done a lot of physical sports my whole life, and like never experienced anything like this. It was about 4 or 5 hours later I started experiencing confusion, a lot of foggy brain, stiff neck, like my frame, so like my neck, my spine going down all the way to my chest, all the way into my hips was just like on fire, and like just felt stiff and it felt like I was in a football game. So those of you that have ever played in a football game before, the day after, you know what I'm talking about. And then my frame going across shoulder to shoulder was just on fire. My shoulder hurt. My shoulder was actually so tight from the stress that it was like sitting up, like not that much. I can't really tell them, probably like that. But yeah, I had vision issues. Like I said, it felt like almost like my left eye, because I hit my head on this side. It felt like on this eye, I was looking through a binocular, and then this one was normal. You know, when you look through binoculars, you can see like a black ring around your eye. Like that's what it was. And also it was kind of blurry, and then I would have to like squint one eye because I couldn't really see out of it. It was blurry. Also, I was getting motion sickness. So I was riding in a car, and that's still going on, but it was really bad then. Like it was to the point where I almost had to carry a bag with me in the car everywhere I went, because like I would just 2 minutes into the ride, I would feel like I was gonna throw up. Also, not uncontrollably, but like just crying, not even knowing why I was crying. Like I just started crying that night. And like, I don't know if it was just from like anxiety or something or what, but, yeah, just, not for a long period of time. It maybe lasted like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and then I would stop, you know, regather myself, and then it would happen again, like a few hours later, or, you know, whatever. It was coming and going. By 8 p.m. that night, I was still experiencing all the above. And I started getting like a mild headache on just the left side. So if you cut my head inside where the dot's at all the way back, this whole side here was just like the whole thing, like half my face, just everything just was like a migraine. A lot of sound sensitivity that night. So we were watching TV, and like just the sound was just pulsating on my ears, just boom, 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 boom. And then my eyes, like it just, everything was getting blurry, and then I would just start getting anxiety. Like I said, uncontrollable crying. So that was within the first 10 hours of the concussion. Yeah, that was bad. The next day, May 19th, Sunday, 24 hours later, I woke up in the morning. Like I said, I just felt sore everywhere, like my frame going down and then across, because I hit my shoulder, whiplash hit my head. So everything just was sore. Like felt like I played a football game. But the head was a little foggy, but it just felt like I played a football game. It didn't feel any different. You know, just a little bit of a headache, but not much. So that morning I ended up doing, I don't know exactly. I'd have to go back and look at my training for that week, but I think I did a light or a bike. I think maybe like a 45-minute to a 1-hour bike, maybe. But I for sure went on a run because I felt normal still. So I did I think a 3 or 4 mile run. It might even have been a 6 mile run. I don't know, but I did a run. Felt fine. Got back home. I'm reading off my notes here. After that, I started experiencing a lot of foggy brain. Like I said, my head was just, or my body was still just sore. The symptoms didn't come back till later on that night. This was Sunday. I had to work Monday morning. I had to get up at 4 o'clock and go to work. So I was fully intending on going to work. Like I said, I was fine. I felt fine. But then later on that night, it all came back again. Just ears, eyes, just headache, freaking all right here. It was just like, it felt like somebody fucking kneed me in my face right here. My ear hurt. It felt like someone was like muffling, or not muffling. Somebody had their hand over my ear and I was just talking like that, you know. So my hearing on my left side was bad, not bad, but like it just felt like it was muffled, like there was something over it, like I had a headphone over this ear and was talking. But still, I was experiencing all the same symptoms, and it was bad. Again, started crying that night. Found somebody to cover my shift, went to the doctor. The doctor told me first 7 to 10 days, you need to not do anything, sit in a dark room. Obviously, I'm thinking, yeah, but really I'm thinking you're full of shit, because I have triathlons coming up and I have work and I'm not going to be on disability. That's bullshit. I'm not going to take time off work and live off fucking a disability check that basically gives you nothing. So I told him I was going back to work, and he was like, no, you're not. So we kind of like went back and forth for a little while. When I was in the doctor's office, I had to have sunglasses on. So I wore sunglasses for probably 6 weeks straight, all day, every day. Slept with a mask on my eyes. But yeah, I just vision. I was having a lot of sensitivity in the eyes and ears, so sunglasses. Then I would carry ear, whatever the hell they are, the little earplugs with me everywhere I went, just in case. But I walked around with my head down for 6 weeks. Couldn't look at anything. Like, it was just, my vision was all messed up. But anyway, that was the first 48 hours. So the full week 1, I break the pain down into 5 different stages. So obviously for the first 48 hours, for the first week, it was in like stage 5. It was like the worst symptoms that I was experiencing. So again, week 1, everything was level 5. Everything was level 5. All the symptoms were level 5, like the worst. So anyway, I ended up getting on disability and taking a leave from work. Week 1, experiencing a lot of body aches still, just all the way down. And my muscles started feeling sore. Like I was doing like a crazy workout every single day. Just really sore. Tight neck, like my neck, I couldn't even turn my head to the left to look. I'd have to like turn my body because it would just, this whole side was just stiff. My left shoulder was super tight. Like I said, it was like wound up here. I think I have some pictures of it in my phone somewhere, but yeah, it was way up here because it was so tight and stressed from the accident. Eye pressure, this eye it felt like somebody was just pushing down on my eye like all day long. Again, it felt like I was looking through a binocular, had a black ring around it. My ear felt like I had a headphone over it. Also, sensitive vision, like I said, sensitive hearing. I had a lot of anxiety week 1, so a lot of anxiety. Like I would just wake up and I'd just be like, I need to get the fuck out of this house, but I couldn't go anywhere because I couldn't drive. Yeah, so did a lot of crying week 1 because, you know, it's hard to accept the fact that you have to force yourself to kind of not exist, you know. You go from training, 2-3 hours a day, and then coaching, 6 to 7 hours a day, every day, and then, just living an active lifestyle to doing nothing. And it's not that you can't do anything, but it's not for your best interest. So like, I still feel like I could do all that stuff, but I couldn't, and it was still hard for me to accept the fact that I couldn't do anything, and I couldn't do anything about it but lay there and let myself heal up. So that's what I was struggling with. I was still doing light biking on the stationary bike in my house. Really, the first 7 to 10 days, they say you should do absolutely nothing. So I was doing like light bike rides, like heart rate under 100 beats per minute the entire time. I was doing it for maybe like a half an hour to 45 minutes in a dark room. So I wouldn't recommend to do anything. If I could go back and do it, I would have done nothing for the 7 to 10 days, but that was still my exercise, 30 to 45 minutes a day of light biking on the stationary bike. But like I said, I don't recommend you do that. Also, the left side of my head, that whole first week, it would move from it would be a migraine. It would move from here to back here to up here on the top of my head to right here in the front to here. Like I said, the whole left side of my face here going down my jaw, just felt like somebody kneed me in my face. My neck was hurting. It was bad. Migraines were really bad the first week. But that was that week. So that was week 1. Week 2, everything was still level 5. It was level 5, but kind of settling down a little bit into level 4. So it was the worst. The pain was at its peak, but it was starting. I felt it starting to drop. So the second week 2, is when I started taking CBD oil. I was taking the tablets. I don't know how many milligrams I was taking, but I started taking CBD oil. Started doing some research on it. So I started taking some CBD oil to help out with the reducing the inflammation and stuff, and relaxing myself a little bit. I noticed improvements. Call me crazy, say I'm full of shit, whatever. I noticed improvements taking CBD oil within the first 48 hours. Migraines went down, vision issues went down. Not bad, not a lot. Like I still had vision issues, but it wasn't to the point to where it was like my left eye would be hurting so bad that like I would have to close it or something. I would still like have to talk like squinted eye, but I don't know. It just felt like I was improving. But I felt a big difference, honestly, when I started taking CBD oil. Also with the depression, the anxiety, the CBD oil also helped me like get over that a little bit too. Like I said, everything started decreasing when I started taking the CBD oil. For those of you that don't know me personally and you're just searching through this video, you know that, or you don't know that I am a recovered addict or recovering addict. I was addicted to painkillers when I was in college and through my mid-20s. Got clean and sober, got my shit together. But I'll make another video on that later. I don't want to get too much into that because it's not about that. But anyway, I refused to take any medication from the doctor. They were trying to give me muscle relaxers, painkillers, and all this other shit with all these weird names to knock me out, and cope with the fact that I, am recovering from a concussion. But I didn't want to take it, so I didn't take anything from the doctor. I said, I don't want anything, I'll do it normal. So that's why I went with the CBD oil instead. The CBD oil was non-psychoactive, so it doesn't make you high. It's just medicine. I have more information on that too, but I'll get in that later. I just want to talk about the concussion. So symptoms for week 2 of the concussion, still anxiety, depression, anxiousness. Like I just wanted to go out and like do stuff all day long, but I couldn't. It's basically just like everything that I was dealing with in week 1, I was still dealing with in week 2, but it's the intensity of everything started kind of dropping. It was still level 5 pain, but it was dropping and I noticed it. The anxiety sometimes would get really bad. Like, to explain what like the anxiety that I've been feeling is like, it's almost like my brain just like wants to break out of my fucking skull. Like, and I've had anxiety, like mild anxiety, like my whole life, and I just never knew what it was until like I started studying it. But this kind of anxiety is 10 times worse than what I've experienced. Like it felt like my brain, like it feels like my brain at times just wants to break out of my fucking skull, and it feels like my body or like something inside me, like my fucking, what do they call that? I don't know, like my spirit just wants to break out of my fucking body, and like my brain just wants to break out of my head. It's weird. It's like my body's fighting itself or something, but that's the kind of anxiety I was feeling. Really bad in week 2. Like I said, everything is still the same. Like, and then I would get forgetful, like talking. Like I would have times where I would just like go blank and be like, shit, what was I talking about? You know what I mean? I also was having trouble with like, I would, not trouble, but like I would be sitting there and like my mind would just go blank and I'd just be staring off into space like, and then like catch myself like, what the fuck? So, that, and then, like I said, lost for words. I'd be having conversations with people and I would just be like go blank. Yeah, so, June 1st, I have in here written down, it felt like my brain wanted to break out of my skull, and I was having extreme headaches and pressure in my head and in my temples and a lot of anxiety. Yeah, that's been going on like nonstop, off and on though. So that's week 2. Week 3, I was still using CBD oil. Like I said, I was noticing improvements. Week 3 was maybe level 4, but it was dropping down to level 3, like pain and what do you call that freaking word? See, I'm having a fucking symptom right now. It was dropping down to level 3 with intensity. So it was kind of like dropping down a little bit. Like I said, I feel like the CBD worked a lot. But anyway, still the same thing. Like I still felt all the same symptoms, but it was just mild. Like it wasn't intense. It didn't feel as intense. It was just, they were calming down. Still all the same thing as week 1 and week 2, but like I said, just mild. I was getting really jumpy. This is like the first time where I really started like going outside. Like I would go to the grocery store and I'd go shopping. And the first time I went to the grocery store, I was really jumpy. It almost felt like if it wasn't in my vision, and it just popped out from the sides, like people walking alongside, and all of a sudden just would come inside my vision. Like I would jump to the side, like fucking, what do they call that? I forgot, but anyway, yeah. So I was really jumpy, like just jumpy, man. It was crazy. But yeah, I experienced a lot of that. And like I said, blank stares, having a lot of issues with like not being patient. Usually driving and like standing in lines, like I'm patient, but like even if somebody was driving in front of me, I would be like, come on, motherfucker, like hurry the fuck up, like in my head, like not really doing that, but like, come on, you fucking piece of shit, like drive faster. And like we would be going the speed limit or faster already. Just like no patience. Standing in line, there'd be like one person in line at the grocery store, and I'd be like, fuck, fucking asshole. You know, it's just like, normally like I can wait all day, you know, but yeah, no patience. Like I said, that's just a lot of anxiousness, man. Anxiety was up, man. And I just remember like we would go to Home Depot or something, and like I'd just be foggy as shit, like feeling like I was like living in dreamland. I felt like my brain was floating, but my body was moving at times. Like it was almost like I didn't have a body. It was weird. Like I said, I was living in fucking dreamland. The first 3 weeks for sure. Like I said, it started coming down a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna end this video now. I'm gonna post weeks 4, 5, 6, and 7 on another video. But just to kind of end this video with some advice to anybody that's going through a concussion. I'm still going through it, and I'm still, you know, living with it and trying to improve, I guess. It's a roller coaster, man. Like I said, everybody always asks me, like, what is it, you know, what do you feel like? Like people, you know, they want to know, you know, it's like, or they'll try to give you advice or whatever. But just tell them like it's a roller coaster, and I can't say if I'm better or not. Like the doctors can't even tell me. All the doctors can tell me, oh well, if you feel like you know, it's too much, just rest. Don't do too much. Don't be too active. Don't be too this. Don't be too that. I feel like being not active though is making me more depressed and more anxious. So I feel okay enough now to where I can start doing light activities, like I said. So I'm doing as much as I can, but I'm just taking rest as I need it. Again, you won't know if you're improving unless you actually try the things you did before and kind of see where you're at. Don't do it right away. Got to take your time, man. Take time to yourself. Don't feel like you always have to be around people or you have to do shit for people. You know, if you're a husband or a wife, don't feel like you have to sit there and clean up after people or, you know, do yard work or do this or that. Like you have to do it. You know, you have to take time to yourself. You got to rest and you got to just focus on getting better, because really, without being yourself, like you ain't worth shit to anybody, you know. That's what I'm slowly starting to learn, which is why another reason why I dropped out of all my triathlons this month. I just didn't want to feel like I was healing for a triathlon. I want to heal for me and, you know, for my relationship and my family. I want to get back to being myself. And that's what it's all about, you know. Fuck a race. A races come and go, you know, competitions come and go. For those of you guys that are fighters or just anything, like, you know, you're getting better for you, not for, you know, not for the sport you're competing in. So just take your time, man. Those sports will always be there. The activities will always be there. Your friends will always be there. Your family will always be there. You only have one brain, you know. And I've read freaking not thousands, maybe 15 or 20 stories, 15 or 20 stories of other like people and like their rehabilitation from concussions. And some people said that, you know, they went right back into doing what they did, and they're still experiencing symptoms from the concussion, you know, months and years later. I'm 2 months in, or 8 weeks in. I feel like I've come a long way from week 1, a long way. So I've been working with the same doctor for my whole life. I've had the same doctor since I was a kid. Like I said, he can't really give me much advice because there's not enough studies on brains. So I'm kind of just doing it on my own. I'm working with my chiropractor, who I've also been working with my whole life, who's around a lot of high school sports and has dealt with concussions and stuff. And what he said from the 8 weeks from the first week I walked in to his office to now, he told me that he would say that I'm about 80% rehabilitated from his eyes. Even I told him I was gonna just stop training and like just force myself to sleep all day long. He was like, don't do that. I feel like you can do it, but just do it light. You got to learn to crawl before you can walk. And for me, that's really hard for me because I don't just stick my foot in the pool. Like I jump in head first, So what I'm doing now is kind of retraining myself how to crawl before I can walk with everything. Whether it's around the house, whether it's training or just whatever. You got to take it slow. Like I said, it's a roller coaster. One day you'll feel 100% better, no symptoms, and you'll wake up and just, oh shit, like I'm ready to fucking go, walking, doing whatever you want to do, going to the store, running errands, fucking working out, whatever it is. And you'll feel great. You'll be like, shit, I'm ready to go. Like I'm back. And you'll go to bed that night feeling great, looking forward to the next day. You'll wake up the next morning and you can barely get out of bed. Like you're fucking my head, like one day I'd feel great. The next day I wake up and like my head would be fucking ringing. My ears would be on fire. Like up along my eyebrow line, around my orbitals, into my nose, like right here would just feel like somebody just fucking took my head and slammed it down into their knee. A lot of jaw pain. My neck's probably the worst still. Like, so from the back stem here behind the brain all the way down, like that's probably the worst. And then, like I said, just a couple of days ago, like I woke up and fucking had an anxiety attack. Like it was so bad to the point, like I said, I just started crying like for no reason. And like all I wanted to do was like get out of my house. Like I had to get out. Like for those of you that have had anxiety attacks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, yeah. So what I'm doing right now is I'm intermittent fasting. So I'm not eating until about 12 or 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And it was around maybe 11:30. And all of a sudden, like I said, just having that anxiety attack. And I was like, shit. So I'm just like, all right, I got to go. Like I put the dog away, grabbed my keys, grabbed my bag with my wallet and stuff in. I just left out the door and I drove. All I wanted to do was drive. So like I said, I went to drove out, went and saw some family, hung out for a little while just to get out of the house and get away and like kind of do something different. But yeah, I ended up staying out all day till like almost 8 p.m. Until Jen, my girlfriend, got off work and I came home and then she came home. But yeah, man, you got to take it easy and you got to have patience with yourself, even though it's hard. Like I said, one day it's going to be great. One day, the next day you'll feel like shit. The next day you might feel mild. The next day you'll feel like shit again. Next day you'll feel great. Like it's a roller coaster. So you just got to give yourself time. Like I said, as always, if you have any questions or you want to get a hold of me, you can leave a comment down below. You can email me. Instagram is just my name, Derek Diaz21. I don't really use my Facebook that much, but if you want to DM me on the Facebook, you can do that too. Like I said, I make these videos to help other people that are going through the same shit. Like I said, nobody's fucking Wolverine, Everybody has problems. Everybody deals with shit. Injuries too, if you're an athlete or just a person that fucking likes to work out and you're going through shit or something happened. Hey man, we all go through shit. When you gotta take time to yourself, you gotta take time to yourself. But yeah, I'll do the next week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7 on the next video. Got some shit to do, so I'm gonna film it later. But like I said, yeah, update is just I feel better than I did a couple of weeks ago. Felt better than I did last week, so that's all really the only update I can give. I am training again. I'm doing some swimming with a snorkel, so I'm not jerking my head around. I'm still biking on the bike trainer at home. Next week will be week 8, which will be 2 months. I'm probably going to start doing some hikes just to get outside. Probably pop in and out of the gym just to be around people and kind of see how my brain reacts to that. But still using CBD oil. That's about it. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. But other than that, peace out. Everybody have a great weekend. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July.